Maybe. And we are live. Welcome, everybody. We have not one, but two people with MFAs, and this is the anti-flex because I'm the one without one. But
who else has one?
Don't you have one?
I do not. I do not. I have a BA with an emphasis in creative writing.
Oh, okay.
I have a master's in English in creative writing, but not in MFA.
Well, I can go home then.
Well, hey, I didn't
swing
even
and a miss, Mike.
1 or 2, so I still feel outclassed.
I'll take it I'll take it. That's cool.
I thought for sure you did. I've read some of your stuff. I'm like, yeah, she knows what she's doing.
Well, thank you.
So anyway, welcome to the show, Tori.
Thank you.
How are we doing tonight? And we have books. EL will be here soon to scream that he needs to see the covers, but but how are you doing first? Let's ask you first.
I'm good. I'm a little scatterbrained because it's launch week, so I'm just kind of all of the things. But I'm doing well, and I've been kind of like waiting because I was like, I want to go on Bald&Balding and chat with Mike and Ro. That sounds like fun. So I'm really excited, and thank you.
Have you seen this show before?
I have, yeah.
And you still wanted to do it?
I mean, I've known Mike for a while now, so I know the drill.
So,
and how did you meet Mike?
Oh gosh, pretty early on when I came back to the indie community, I think back in like 2023, maybe early 2023.
When you came back to the indie community?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where did you go?
I started publishing when I was like in my high school era, and yeah, right.
I've been publishing since high school.
It's true. Actually, Cold Silver is a 20-year gap between this book and the one I published first. So that's kind of a cool milestone. But I went to college, and then I got married and had children, which kind of put a pause on everything else for a while. And then started my YouTube channel in January of 2020 and decided I wanted to publish again. And I published Phased in 2020, my paranormal fantasy, and then got I knew I wanted the village, right? I felt kind of like out on my own too much. And so I got onto Twitter and I met Andrew Meredith first, and then everybody else just kind of poured in after that. So yeah.
And excuse my ignorance here. What's your YouTube channel?
My YouTube channel is Tori Talks.
Okay.
Tori Talks 2, because Tori Talks 1 was already taken.
Would it be like just a regular numeral 2 or a fancy Roman numeral 2?
Just a regular one. I'm not that fancy.
Okay. How many subscribers do you have, Tori?
Oh gosh, currently 9,300, I think, is what I'm at now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
really?
Last I checked.
Dang. Come on, people. You are letting down the side here. Mike and I have been on 410 for weeks.
I mean, I've had the channel for 5 years, so that helps a little bit.
Well, we've had it for 2.
Yeah, at our current rate, we'll be at 450.
We've got all the people who want to watch curmudgeons subscribed, and we have the whole market. And
I'm a subscriber. I love it. I'm here for curmudgeons.
So tell us about Phased.
Sure. So
we'll start there.
Phased is my dark paranormal urban fantasy. It's about 2 werewolf sisters who are werewolves, and they're very dangerous werewolves, and they are held by an organization that basically gives them the ultimatum of either assimilate safely into human society, or you're basically going to be lab rats for the rest of your life. So this is...
Are there non-dangerous werewolves?
Yes. In the book, yes.
Oh, okay. I've never heard
there's
of
a hierarchy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's kind of a hierarchy of how pure their blood is. If anybody's family's been crossed with humans at any point, then they're, less powerful and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
And then we have the Bloodstones, which came out not long ago, and you're publishing yet another book.
Well, it's about 1.5 years now since Bloodstones comes out. Yeah. Isn't that wild?
I thought it was like 6 months.
No, November 28th, 2023 was when this one came out.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know it feels like it hasn't been that long, to be honest.
So what we've done so far is just don't listen to Mike. He gets everything wrong.
No, hey, that's the easiest degree I've ever earned. I'll take it. I love it. So this is my love letter to epic fantasy and tragic heroism. I basically took historical era Korea and the succession wars and all of the political mess that was in all of that, and wrote an epic fantasy based on, just kind of loosely influenced by that. So this is my very character focused multi-POV epic fantasy. It's the first book in a trilogy. Book 2 should hopefully be coming out next year.
And the main event for tonight.
This one right here just came out. Well, actually, it's coming out on Tuesday. See, I can't get anything right either, and I wrote the book. This comes out next Tuesday, May 27th, Cold Silver for Souls. This is a necromancer bounty hunter main character who is seeking justice in a world inspired by the Yukon Gold Rush. So that is my official short pitch for Cold Silver. Still character focused because it's me. I can't write anything else. So yeah.
Okay. So I've been following for a while. You're on your Discord and whatnot. So I want to ask, because these are 3 different series, right?
Yep.
How many books are going to be in each?
Yeah. So Phased is going to be a duology. So there will be one more that I have written about half a manuscript for. So that one's in the works. And then the Bloodstones will be part of a trilogy, plus 1 or possibly 2 novellas. And then Cold Silver for Souls is meant to kind of mimic the more episodic serialized Westerns of like the 60s and 70s. So it's going to be 4 to 6 shorter episodic books that all accumulate in a larger storyline.
So by my count, you've published 3 books and you have 9 more and a couple novellas that you want to write.
Yeah. Plus some more.
Do you have a plan for?
Pretty much all of them. And I don't know, Mike, I don't know where we land slightly differently on the discovery to planner ratio of writing. But I kind of have it all up here. I don't do written out outlines too much, unless I need them.
I've kind of walked away from that because I make my outlines and then my characters start making decisions I don't like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this is worthless. I'm glad I spent a week making this outline.
You can't take them anywhere.
I know.
Really
so,
yeah. No.
So
it's like herding cats.
So I kind of just have like signposts, like these 5 things are going to happen, and I'm writing towards number 1, and then I'll write to it. Yeah. So I kind of do that now because anything else is just wasted time, which I like wasting time. I do a lot of that. But.
I think that's an important part of being a writer, honestly. Yeah. I mean, like with Cold Silver, I know like where the end of the series is going to be and what's going to happen. And I have kind of a general outline for each of the episodes within the series. Bloodstones, like the Legends of the Bruhai trilogy, is pretty cemented in my head, like the major beats of it. And I know the ending. It's just all the stuff in the middle that I got to write and figure out. So,
right.
Yeah.
That shit in the middle. That's where everything gets brought down, isn't it?
Yep.
So
beginnings of books and ends of books. It's just all the stuff in the middle that gets in the way.
It's true.
So
we should do a write your own adventure, Mike, instead of a choose your own adventure. So you give them like the first chapter and the last chapter, and like 50
tell them to fill in the blank.
Right, with a pencil stuck in there.
Whatever you want to have happen happens.
A DIY fantasy book.
Yeah.
We're onto something.
I love it.
So I have a question about Bloodstones because the last I'd heard, and I might be out of date, Bloodstones happens like 1,000 years before your big epic fantasy series you wanted to write. Is that what I heard?
So there's the story that Bloodstones, how do I put this? So when I was in college, about 12 to 13 years ago, at the end of my college years, I had come up with a world and a story within that world that I had literally plastered all over the landing and in our second floor of our rental house, papers and pictures, and it was very much the like crazy writer room. And I came back to it about in 2021 or 2022 and decided I was ready. I wanted to start writing that book. And realized as so many authors do in fantasy, that maybe I wanted to tell a prequel story first. So Bloodstones and the Legend of the Bruhai takes place about half a generation before Edge of the Earth, which is the one that I started back in college. There will be a novella in between them that goes back multiple thousands of years to explain what happened to the magic, sort of.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where you're getting that from.
So how long is Edge of the World series going to be?
3 to 4 books.
3 to 4 books? Okay.
Yeah, so they're going to be very much contained their own stories.
Yeah.
But it, like, in total, there's a planned 3 novellas and at least 6 or 7 books in the world so far.
Okay. And EL's asking a question. I know the answer, but I'll let you answer it. Audiobook?
Yeah, so my plan is to, for Cold Silver, if you want to listen to the audiobook for Bloodstones, that is already out and was done by the incredible Andrew D. Meredith, who is a fantastic narrator.
Yeah.
Cold Silver, I'm actually going to be doing the audiobook myself. When, I'm not entirely sure, probably later this year. I need to get some time to sit down and record that in a quiet house, which as a mom with 3 kids is a little tough to come by sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, how old are your kids?
So, I have a 12, a 9, and a 7.
Oh,
So
good
you've got
Lord.
15 more years before you get a quiet house.
Yeah, exactly.
You're lucky.
Yeah. Yep. My kids have been great. Actually, it's been really cute this last couple of days. My kids have been helping me package everybody's orders and they're having a great time. So that's been really fun.
So,
That's cool.
I mean, how much of a,
Nice.
all of these things that we do, you know, it's like time, treasure, and talent, right? And audiobook to me seems like it would be a lot of time and talent. How do you find that kind of time to take on that new thing? Because it is a very, and I would have to think if I read my own books out loud like that, I would constantly wanting to be editing them again.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, that sounds messed up. I could
Oh,
make
yeah.
that sound better, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think with Cold Silver, I probably won't do it for many of my other books. And I mean, for Bloodstones, I have 3 out of the 4 POVs are male voices, so it made more sense to have a male narrator for that book. And Andrew did a phenomenal job. With Cold Silver, I pulled in a lot of my own upbringing in the rural Midwest, and Hunter has a little bit of a Southern Midwestern drawl. And she's my first person narrator character. And yeah, so it's one of those things where I know it so well. I know the tone and the atmosphere of that kind of rural Midwestern character so much that I want to try it. If it sucks, I'll have somebody else do it, but I want to try it. And I actually, my minor in college was theater, and I actually just about looked into doing voice acting for quite a while. So I'm kind of want to dust off some of those cobwebs and see what I can come up with.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you lived in the Midwest your entire life?
I am 8th generation Southeast Minnesotan. Yep.
Wow. You know, there's 49 other states, right?
There are. I've been to a lot of them. I love a lot of the other states, but yeah, Minnesota's my family has very deep roots here.
So just, you know, to be conversational or confrontational, however you want to go.
Sure.
What's the worst other state you've been to?
Oh boy. You know, lots of love to all of my brothers and sisters in New York, but I got to go with New York. And in fairness, I have not been to northern New York, which I've heard is quite beautiful. I've not been there. But I
still got that New York stink to it, though.
Yeah, I went to New York City when I was 6 months pregnant with my oldest, and I'm like, I've seen it. I'm good.
Yeah.
So
To be fair, upstate New York would rather be their own state,
I'm sure.
you know,
Yeah.
than support New York City.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Once you get above like that Pennsylvania kind of border, it's a whole different place.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Minnesota has the best cop videos. Thank you, J4.
So, Ro, let's get the question out of the way because I guarantee she's going to pick your answer. I mean, I know this.
Everybody else does. I don't know why she shouldn't.
So there's only one right answer, and like 90% of our people get it wrong.
Yeah.
So I want you to envision you are going down the main street of your city.
Yep.
Now you are in a saddle.
Yep.
And you can be riding a T-Rex or a Griffin. Which one do you choose and why?
T-Rex.
Oh no, you've seen this show.
100%.
You know the answer.
I have, but that is still my answer, and here's why.
And that was without education.
I came with a defense. Okay, I came with a defense. I told you I've seen the show before.
Okay, all right.
So Griffins are awesome. Like they're really cool. Everybody should read Chago Abdallah's books because there's Griffins in them, and also Zach Diamante. But I'm afraid of heights, first of all. So that's one strike against Griffins. They're beautiful, but I could not probably fly on one. And also, one of my favorite non-human characters in all of storytelling is Mama T-Rex from Jurassic Park. So that's my answer.
I am pleasantly surprised. I thought for sure you were going to go Griffin.
Nope.
Yeah.
But I do love Griffins. But if you were like, here, ride the T-Rex from Jurassic Park, I'd be like, sign me up.
See, well, there you go, Mike. Do you feel vindicated?
Sorry, Ro.
No, that's fine. Like I say, 95% of the people pick the Griffin.
You take a lot of the wins. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So my theory is that most of the people we ask do not live in Virginia. And if you had to deal with Virginia drivers, you would want that T-Rex to throw those cars off the road.
Yeah.
So,
or you take the Griffin just to avoid them altogether.
No, I want violence.
Yeah. We're barbarians, right, Mike?
Absolutely.
That's right. I think you're on my axe, right? Yeah, you are.
Am I? I
you?
don't think so.
Or were you in that team?
No,
I thought you were in the Beanie Barbarians. Maybe I was wrong about that.
No, you don't want me on your team in readathons.
Honorary member.
Unless you have like a DNF category or something.
Yeah,
that's exactly. Andrew Wizard.
Yeah, he and I, we compare notes. I mean, he does more DNFs because he reads so much more than I do. But percentage wise, we're
right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite all-time book series? Like if you Desert Island thing, if you could take one book or, compendium of books or whatever.
Well, for the Desert Island question, I always go with my favorite comfort read series, and that would be Red Rising. Because those are the books that I go back to when I'm in a slump. They have so many of the characters and themes that I always love to read about. And I would have to take the first trilogy. I'd have to take all three because it has to be one solid reading experience. But that would be my Desert Island series for sure.
So I have a question for you about Red Rising.
Go for it.
Because I've tried to read that and I can't. I'm like, you know what? I hate the main character. I can't stand them.
Sure.
And I've now, with my Haley Traveler, I've had like 4 or 5 people like, it's kind of like Red Rising. And I'm like, I hate Red Rising.
No.
And I'm like, I should probably market that, but I DNF fast. So I probably need to, give it a little more time.
So how far into the first book did you get?
Chapter 18?
No, like 4 chapters, maybe 5 chapters, maybe. I did not get very far. And I was just like,
I can see. So so the first book of Red Rising, a lot of people do bounce off of it because of the style or the tone. And a lot of people don't like, not that it's a young protagonist, but like young protagonists are kind of hit or miss with some people. A lot of people have a complete turnaround of their opinion of the series once they get to Golden Sun, which is book 2. I love the first book for a lot of reasons. However, I understand why people don't like Darrow if they don't like Darrow. Like, that's fair. Darrow's kind of a wet sock sometimes. So, that's fair.
I might have to give it another try.
Yeah. Because you didn't meet one of my favorite characters in all of fantasy is in this book. So, and you didn't meet him yet.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about young heroes and heroines?
I love them.
Really?
Yeah. I'm a big supporter of, I'm not a YA reader typically, but what I like is epic fantasy that brings young characters into an adult world. And so, for example, you've got, Red Rising would be an example. Lies of Locke Lamora is another one that I really love, where the world is still very epic and harsh and gritty. How does a child cope with that? How do they carve a place out of a world like that? And that's something that I really enjoy reading. I'm not a farm boy chosen one trope person at all. So it's not that one, but agreed.
I have to read something by ZB, but I keep hearing that everybody dies.
Yeah. I have it on. I have his ebook on my Kindle too. I want to check it out. I've been hearing really good things.
I mean, I want to do that to my series and kill everybody and be like, no, it's over. There will be
done. And at the end, everyone dies.
In the next book, it was just a dream.
Yeah. And then everyone released the breath they didn't know they were holding.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be good to have it be so popular that people did, call for your head until you wrote another one.
Yeah.
That'd be a good problem to have, actually.
Yeah.
It would be. Yeah. I'm actually very grateful that my audience has been gracious with me coming out with Cold Silver before the next Legends of the Brewheim book. I didn't do it to be mean, I promise.
Well, I think people are pretty understanding of that, because I think they would rather that you did something like that, that then they could try, knowing that they like what you write, they can try this other thing, knowing that you're going to go back to the first thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it does get a little wearing after a while, writing in the same world, the same story or whatever.
It does.
First of all, you get so far into it. If you're like me and you don't do what you should do and create a book Bible for it, so you can go back and find out who these people are. You have to go back and reread it, or you just kind of forget it, or go, wow, didn't I have somebody that did this?
So Tori, in your books, do you ever mention the eye color of your characters?
Only if it's relevant.
Because I absolutely will avoid it at all costs, because I'm like, I will never remember what color I gave them.
See, I kind of had a cheat code for that in the Bloodstones, because pretty much everybody has the same skin, hair, and eye color. So the nice part is I can't really and there's only one character that really stands out because they have a different eye color, and that one's easy to remember because it's like the only one. So
my first book, the heroine has like a green and a blue eye.
Oh, cool.
So not only did I have to remember that, I had to remember which one was
which.
And so it was constantly going back to look at that, going, okay, right,
yeah. I've actually found one of the things that's kind of helpful with that is I print out like one of those, chalk outlines of a person, and I write for each character, and I write, okay, there's a scar here and there's eye color here. And I just have it as like, just
like a D&D character sheet. That's
exactly.
a great idea.
Yeah. And just I mark when they get scarred or wounded, I mark where it's at, and then we move on so that I remember where it is. So
nice. I was going to say, the only character I've given eye color to is I have a character named Lapis, and Lapis Lazuli is blue, so therefore she has blue eyes.
Easy to remember.
Now you know the code for all Mike's eye colors. That color.
Yeah, Amethyst walks into the room and you're like, got it. Got it. Yeah. Or Amber.
Yes. So we have lots of silly questions we can ask you.
I love it.
Yeah.
But who is your main character in Cold Silver?
So Cold Silver is Hunter, and she does have a last name, but you don't learn it until later on in the book. And her first name, only one person or two people in the entire territories knows, because she hasn't gone by it for so long. She is a bounty hunter, and she's a loner, and she's a necromancer, which means she's a bit of an outcast, because in this world there's a lot of people have like practical magic. So instead of there being like mages and fireballs in the street, there's like people that have something called a charm, where like you walk into the and everything seems calmer, and they're able to like affect emotions a little bit. You have people that might be better at like more of a green thumb, like more of that kind of practical magic kind of stuff. And so necromancers can hide in society if they wish to, because people are a little weird about people that can raise dead people, you know, fair. And so Hunter kind of prefers to be on the fringes of society because society hasn't been super kind to her.
Okay, so my question for you, and this should be fun, is Hunter has transported herself here. She's with you.
Okay.
And in your infinite wisdom, you decide, hey, I need to take you to Walmart.
Okay.
So you go to Walmart, and then you turn to get a basket, and when you turn back, Hunter is gone. Where has she gone, and what is she doing?
Oh, man. I'm trying to imagine. She has probably been... Oh, that's horrible. I can't say that.
Sure you can.
We're at Walmart, right?
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, this is horrible to say. So she's probably distracted by the greeter because she thinks there might be another necromancer around raising, like, with a animated
Using
corpse.
dead people and letting them wander around Walmart?
Yeah.
So Tori, I will tell you that my 89-year-old aunt is a Walmart greeter, and she still works 40 hours a week, and I totally understand where you're going.
I love her so much. Please tell her I don't mean any offense.
No, I mean, she's 89, and she
That's
works
amazing.
40-hour weeks.
That's good for her.
She started working at 16, and I'm just like, oh my God, that's
Why?
hell.
Why is she doing that?
She used to stock shelves until after her first heart bypass surgery, and then she decided to be a greeter. So yeah,
Does she just need the medical insurance or what?
she's 89, Medicare.
Well, I'm sure too. Like, I don't know. I'll probably be like this when I'm older if I have the capability for it. I don't want to slow down.
Yeah,
I don't want to slow down, but I also don't want to go to work. You know?
I will tell you the coolest thing about her is that I was behind her once, and I didn't realize it when I was going over to my mom's place. I'm like, man, finally somebody knows how to drive. It's speed limit's 35. She's going 50. She's taking the turns at 35. She's going around. I'm like, awesome. I don't know who this driver is, but thank you. And then I'm like, wow, she's going all the way back to mom's place. And she got out. I was like, Aunt Marlene.
Please tell me that you're going to write her into your books as a character at some point, because she sounds like a legend, honestly.
She's absolutely a legend.
When Mike writes her into a book, something really bad will happen to her.
No. I'm writing a cozy series now, Ro.
Yeah. They need a greeter, surely.
Are you sure you're writing a cozy series?
It is a cozy series, 100%.
Right.
How have you been enjoying that so far as a little bit of a shift from the norm?
Well, so the whole idea is that humans get invited to a space station in Proxima Centauri, and there's 5 sentient alien races there.
Okay.
I've had 5 dogs in my life, so each alien is the idiosyncrasies of each of my dogs, which is why I cannot kill any of them because they're my dogs.
Yep.
So therefore, there will be no deaths. So yeah, it's like, well, it's going to have to be cozy because I can't kill any of them. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that idea.
So yeah, I've had some beta readers that are like, oh my God, you really know these characters. You've really fleshed them out. I'm like, yeah, they've all lived at least 14 years with me. So yeah.
Yeah, you get to know your roommates pretty well, even when they're furry.
So
I haven't read it yet, so I can't.
No, not yet.
Somebody read it before Ro?
Ro's my editor, so I don't want him to read it until he starts fixing grammar and words and stuff like that. So, but EL has read some of it, and it's killing him, I think.
Nice.
He is so not the cozy writer.
Yep.
And yeah, there. Some of his comments just make me laugh.
Yeah, I love getting like feedback comments from people. There's some really good ones.
Tori, during your excessive downtime,
Yeah,
as the wife, mother of three,
yeah,
author, audiobook narrator,
yeah.
what are you watching?
What am I watching? Oh gosh, what am I watching right now? I don't watch a ton of TV,
Watching
honestly.
the laundry go around.
Yeah, exactly. I'm watching my kids outside. I honestly don't watch a lot of TV. What have I watched recently? I watched a film recently called Only the Brave, which was really it was very emotional, but it was this true story of the firefighters that got caught in the blaze out in California quite a few years ago. And absolutely phenomenal film, and really respectful to the memory of the men who passed, and incredibly well done film. So that one. I also watch K-dramas. So I'm watching
what dramas?
Korean dramas.
Why?
Because I love them and they're really good and they're better than a lot of Western TV.
Do you speak Korean?
I can understand a little bit and write a little bit of it. Yeah, not enough to like follow without subtitles, but yeah.
Just out of curiosity, how does someone who has lived their entire life in the American Midwest in Minnesota of all places start taking up any Korean at all?
So the short answer to that is I have always been a super nerd about global cultures and ancient history and all of that ever since I was little. And I listen to a ton of music. Like, people come to me for playlists all the time. And I listen to a lot. I would say probably only 30% of what I listen to, 30-40% is in English. So I listened to music from all over the world, and I got into some Korean music, and then I found out that they did Korean dramas, and I thought, I'll watch one of these. This sounds like a cool premise. And it was like a historical drama, so right up my alley. And that's how I got hooked. Yeah.
Okay, so English music only.
Mm-hmm.
Top 5 live albums.
Oh, I don't do albums as much. I do a lot of little bits and pieces but one is The Dichotomy by David Kushner. I love right now. Oh, what's the name of the album? Hold on. I've been listening to a lot of Poor Man's Poison, writing Cold Silver. I'm looking to see what the name of the album is. I remember all the song names, but not the album names. Let's see, what is that from? Providence is, I think, yeah, that's an album. Providence is one that I've really liked by Poor Man's Poison. I'm trying to think what else. It's easier to do artists than albums, to be honest.
Sure, go ahead.
Because I listened to like the full discography. What else recently?
Artist is fun.
Artist is fun. The Crane Wives is another one. The Crane Wives is really good. My brain's like, you don't listen to music. You can't think of anything.
You've named 4 bands so far.
Okay.
And so to give us the generational gap, Mike, I'm 0 for 4. Having heard.
It just goes right over my head. There's nothing there to.
If it makes you feel better. So it's always funny to me because when I get into conversations with some of my other friends that are a little bit older, they always are like, oh, we're going to talk about this music. You don't know what we're talking about. I know a lot about like 2000s and forward, and then also 1950s and 60s. So like there's a gap there.
So you missed out like the 3 decades of actual good music.
I mean, you're allowed to have a wrong opinion, Ro. I mean, you are.
They have these things on YouTube, right, where it's like guess the album, guess the song, whatever. And me and my son, who is obviously like he's 23, and it went by decades, right? And it started like the 1900s, and of course, 1900 through 1930 or 40, we're both like, yeah, we got nothing.
Yeah.
And then I would get some from like the late 40s, 50s,
Yep.
60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. I'm there. Anything after 2000, I'm just like, it's all you. I
That's fair.
have no clue.
In fairness, there is a lot of garbage music that came out after the 2000s, so that's fair.
So, has Zach got you to listen to Sleep Token? Because I know that is Zach's all-time favorite now.
I have listened to a little bit of Sleep Token. There's a song that they did in one of their earlier albums called Take Me Back to Eden that I really like. Their new album is okay. I tend to pull away from the more heavy metal screamo kind of stuff. That's not really my jam. But I can see why people would enjoy it. That's my very passive-aggressive Midwestern answer.
So you listen to music while you write then?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I find that, I don't know how you do that, but what genre are you generally throwing on when you're sitting down to write, paranormal fantasy?
Paranormal fantasy, a lot of alternative rock, a lot of, let's see, a little bit, kind of late 90s, early 2000s alternative rock. I'm trying to think what else I have in there. I have for the phase, so I have like playlists for each of my books that kind of adds to the ambiance of whatever I'm reading or writing, and it helps me kind of get back into the feel of the story. So on...
Can you give Mike a link to your playlist and he can put it in the notes of this episode?
Yeah, actually, so if you go to my website, ToriTecken.com, each page of for each of my books actually has the Spotify playlist right on the website page, so people can listen to it.
Nice.
Look at you.
I love music. I said I was a big nerd. So yeah, the Witcher soundtracks are on the phased one, because those were some really good soundtracks.
Where is this?
So if you go to the tab up on the top right that is books and drop down.
Yeah.
I got to see what you're seeing. That makes more sense to me. Oh, and then you can just click on like phased or Legends of the Bruhai and it'll take you to the book page. I don't have one for Cold Silver yet, but it's in the works.
Look at that. You got a playlist. How about that?
It's not that he didn't trust you, Tori, but he had to verify.
You wanted to make sure I knew where it was. Just fair.
This is very. Do you do your own website as well?
I had a friend who helped me out with it when I first put it up, and she's kind of moved off of doing any kind of tech and art now. So I'm slowly learning, and I'm very proud of myself when I can make any changes successfully. That's where we're at.
You've got 22 songs on this playlist for Phase, and I have not heard of a single one of them. Or the band, I mean,
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So you're old, bro.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I also am very niche with a lot of the music that I listen to. So a lot of like the mainstream pop kind of stuff, I'm not like, that's not my scene. I like stuff that's a little bit more off the beaten path. So
something that has a little bit more talent behind it.
Some actual, well, I'm a storyteller, right? So I like lyrics. I like lyrics that mean something. And I like when we drive with my kids, we have a big kids playlist that has like hundreds of songs on it. And we can go from something in Korean to my kids love Jailhouse Rock by Elvis right now. That's one of their favorites. To Poison Ivy is another older one that they love, like a 50s, 60s song. So like we listen to probably 8 different languages within half an hour in the car. So
Ro, I think this means we have to have more shows because Sina listens to wackadoos while she writes. So it's only when listening to our show.
Faster. Yeah.
I don't know how anyone could. I mean, unless we're just background noise. So Tori, the big question we haven't asked you.
Yeah.
Is who is the hero of Harry Potter?
Oh, Severus Snape. It's not even a question. Yeah,
your T-Rex nonsense is forgiven.
So I've redeemed myself. Well, here's the thing, Ro. I'm a Slytherin. So like there is only one correct answer to that question.
Well, I know, but it's the right answer. I mean, I've heard other good answers. I mean, some people have, Mike, you have to agree to this, Mike. People have come on and said various things, and you kind of go, all right, I can see that.
Yeah.
I would say one of the only other ones that I would accept would be Mrs. Weasley.
Okay.
Mrs.
Haven't
Weasley
heard
is
that
amazing.
before.
Dobby is awesome, and also very helpful.
Expound on Mrs. Weasley.
Well, okay. As
Thank you,
a woman who's dealing with the pressures of a very oftentimes elitist society and raising, like, I don't know, how many children does she have? 7 or 8 children?
7, yeah.
And they're all like still alive and doing fairly well as, magic users and going to Hogwarts. And she somehow keeps the whole ship running. She deserves a laurel for that, honestly.
What I don't understand about the Weasleys is they live in a shack, essentially. They can all use freaking magic. Just make a nice house.
Yeah. But it's very cozy and homey.
You have a 4,000 square foot tent. It's the freaking TARDIS, right?
Yeah.
How come your house is a pile of shit?
Here's the thing. I think that just like, how when we're writing, our characters kind of take on lives of their own and their own characteristics and personalities. I think that if a witch or wizard tries to build a house in the Harry Potter universe, the house takes on a bit of its own character. So I don't know that they have as much control. Like I would guess they maybe don't have as much complete control over exactly what it looks like. Because the house kind of, yeah.
You're saying anything that's made with magic kind of develops as quasi-sentience.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That would be my...
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's I need to come up with a quick writer answer to that question.
Well done.
Thanks. Yeah. I am actually hoping to read the Harry Potter series for the first time this year. I've seen the films and I've never read them. I grew up in it. I grew up surrounded by it, but I never read them.
I will tell you this. When you read them, especially the first couple, you're going to go, wow, they left a lot of stuff out of these movies.
Yeah.
And this is much better than the movies.
Yeah.
I have high hopes for the new HBO series.
Oh, really?
Which I think is supposed to start filming this year.
I think so.
They're going to do, I think, 10 series per book.
Oh.
But a couple of the books will be multiple because I think they're planning on 10 series.
Okay.
Of it. So hopefully it's going to be a lot better than the nonsense that Chris Columbus put out the first couple movies.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what they come up with.
To be fair, though, they were teaching the kids how to act as they were filming the movies. So
that was a mistake, right? And having Chris Columbus do it I really dislike Chris Columbus.
I can tell.
He did Home Alone, which is just freaking awful.
I haven't actually seen Home Alone. I know I
haven't watched it all because it's totally stupid. The whole premise of it is just dumb.
You're the only person I know who does not like Home Alone.
Me too. That's a very beloved movie. I've never seen it, so I have no opinion. But
I've never seen E.T.
I haven't either. I
never understood.
How old was that kid? 8, 10 years old?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And he should be in jail for all the stuff even though those guys were breaking into his house. Come on now. Anyway, and you're the mother of 3. What are the chances you get on a plane to France and forget one of your kids?
0.
Exactly.
Less than 0.
So those parents belong in prison with Dumbledore because they're all endangering children.
Fair.
All right.
I respect that.
Cinna says Home Alone is pure stupid fun. Yeah, so is the latest Top Gun movie. But I won't get started on that.
One of the older movies that I really, really love that inspired some of Cold Silver is actually Young Guns. It's one of my favorite films of all time. Love that film. There's actually an insult in Cold Silver that's straight out of Young Guns as a nod to that.
Nice.
So yeah.
Have you seen A Million Ways to Die in the West?
No, that's one on my list I need to watch still.
You want to talk about dumb fun? Anyway,
is it spaghetti?
It's Seth MacFarlane.
Okay.
So
That explains everything.
should pretty much tell you all you need to know.
It does, yeah. Okay, got it. Yeah.
All right, Mike, you wanted to say something for a while now, and you've been very patient with me. Thank you.
I say, is it time for the bulb dough?
Probably.
And Tori, have you seen the bulb dough?
No.
Well, this is the bulb dough 2. We've upgraded it.
Okay.
Wow.
So
Mike didn't
what
like
we're
my
gonna do-
potions anymore, so he
How worried should I be?
So what we're going to do is we're going to take one of your characters. You get
Is
to
that
pick.
moonshine? You drinking
Sorry.
moonshine out of a big old mason jar?
If I had $1 for every person who has asked me that, I could publish another book probably.
Nice.
This is the farm woman's glass of choice, and it has water in it. Because
That's
this
where
is
you're
the only
supposed
way
to
I
say,
drink
"Yes, it
enough
is."
water. I can't. I would not be able to string a coherent sentence together if that was moonshine.
Okay, so for the bulb dough, we're going to take one of your characters,
Okay.
and we want to learn more about them, but we don't want you to give us spoilers.
Okay.
So
We're
we're
gonna try to kill 'em.
transport them way far away, someplace they've never been before, and they're going to have an encounter
Okay.
with either an animal or a fantasy creature.
Okay.
And they get a couple things. They don't. No weapons come with them,
Okay.
but otherwise the rules of your world hold sway. But they don't get to bring any weapons with them. We will supply what they get, which
Okay.
is laughable.
Okay.
So I need a character. Tell us who it is and from what series it's in.
Do you have any specific direction you want me to take this, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. We're going to learn about one of your characters. Who do you want to talk about? Do you want it to be Hunter? Do you want it to be Val?
Oh gosh. Sure, let's do Hunter because you get 2 characters for the price of 1.
Okay. So
How do we get to?
So she has an animated corpse named Rip who comes with her everywhere.
Okay.
Mhm.
Interesting.
It's the necromancer part.
Okay, so I rolled a 3, so that means that Hunter and Rip,
Okay.
they have been transported to the floating isles. Massive chunks of earth floated gracefully through the sky, tethered to the ground with thick spiraling vines. Cascading waterfalls pour endlessly from each isle, forming a misty rainbow as they fall into the abyss below. Golden caches of treasure, protected by shimmering magic seals, are scattered across the cliff edges, along with winged panthers with obsidian eyes that prowl silently among the clouds.
Very picturesque. I like it.
Go chat BPT.
So that is where Hunter and Rip are.
Okay.
They have a potion. What is your favorite color?
Black.
It is a black fizzy potion.
Fantastic. Those are always great.
It is 100% effective, but you have no idea what it does.
Okay.
So
All
if
right.
you want to use it yourself or on the adversary, it will work absolutely, but you just don't know what it does. So,
Got it. Okay.
now
All right.
the question for you is, do you want your character to have a common item and they'll face a common animal, or do you want a weapon and they will face a fantasy creature?
Ooh. Let's go for a weapon.
Okay. So
So many people don't.
what is
I don't know why. That's the obvious answer to me.
okay? So you have a morning star,
Ooh, nice. Okay.
and you have in this floating city with waterfalls and whatever. You are walking there along with Rip. You're sort of chatting, and you turn the corner, and lo and behold, you see number 10. What is number 10?
A green frog with a banjo. Sorry,
There's
what, Mike?
giant, and he is there freezing the river so there will be no more
The
rainbows.
ice giant?
Yeah, frost giant, yeah.
Oh boy. Okay.
So, he's freezing the rivers because he doesn't like rainbows because, he's a frost giant.
Sure.
And he
Yeah.
just happens to, as he's looking to freeze the next one, it's right in front of you. The river freezes and he looks at you and is like, there are people here.
Yeah.
And so now what happens next? What do Hunter and Rip do with their morning star and their black fizzy potion? I don't know how black potion can be fizzy, if you could see it or not, but hey, we've never had a black one before, so that's great.
Hunter versus the Morning Star is kind of a wild card because Hunter's used to having a firearm, which is a little different than a fantasy weapon.
There are gold seals and black panthers with onyx with obsidian eyes there too, and
that's
treasure.
True. That's
You
true.
don't mean gold seals like the animal?
Yes.
Yes. So it's probably very noisy, also.
Yes.
Okay.
I would assume. Well, Hunter is probably going to place Rip slightly in front of her, between her and the Frost Giant, which is something that she typically does a lot in this book. He's kind of her meat shield.
That's a good move. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the Morning Star is great, but we don't want him to get that close. She's not a full-on barbarian like I am, so she wouldn't be like charging, guns blazing.
Okay.
This is where your chance comes in, Tori, because Mike has to roll dice, and he is the absolute worst at it.
Okay.
So what am I rolling for?
Well, if Tori isn't doing anything, I don't know what disposition is the Frost Giant, Mike.
Yeah, that would be helpful. What kind of an expression does the Frost Giant have at us at the moment?
So I have never played D&D, so I have rolled a 14. So Ro, tell us what this means. If the Frost Giant's
whatever the Frost Giant was going to do, he succeeds in doing.
He's frozen the river in front of you now, so now you can walk on the river and go to the giant without getting wet.
Okay.
And vice versa.
Sure. Hunter would probably hold the mace behind her so she doesn't look as threatening. She has more self-preservation skills than some of my other characters. I don't know. She'd probably say like some kind of generic Midwestern greeting, like a kind of non-committal head nod.
Opa.
Yeah.
What is it in the last, like, I don't know, 2-3 months? We've just got the biggest bunch of kind of, hey, how you doing? Kind of.
Well, she's not going to attack somebody that doesn't attack her first.
And the giant is how tall? And giants are what, like 20 feet tall? Are you going to attack someone 3 times your height?
Right.
I'm not saying it in this particular instance it isn't a good idea, Mike. I'm just saying overall, over the last several weeks,
ChatGPT is letting us down with the situations here.
Everybody has gone down this road of, I'm going to make friends.
That's not
well,
true.
Hunter's not making friends yet. She's kind of reading the situation here.
And Ro, you're forgetting about Mike Roberti.
I wasn't here that day.
Oh, so his character tried to attack the Manicore and it missed. The Manicore missed. Mike's
I was here that day. That was the tea party.
And so they decided to sit down and have a tea party since neither one of them could hit.
That's amazing.
You would think it's amazing, but it's not. Mike just sucks at dice.
Well, see, this is another reason why I probably shouldn't be attacking anything, because I probably won't win.
Do you have your own dice? You can use them. You should.
I do. They're in the other room.
Oh.
Okay, so what is the Frost Giant doing, Ro? You are the DM.
I would think the Frost Giant would attack them just because, it's a giant, a very little brain.
That's fair. Okay, now we've got something to work with.
Okay, 17.
So I died.
No, I mean, he's got to take a step across the ice to get to you, right?
Sure.
And he's going to hit the first thing he sees, which is your buddy.
Yep.
Yeah. What's he got for a weapon, Mike?
I don't know.
Is he just slapping him with the back of his hand, or has he got a club, or what?
He has a club.
Okay.
Oh, that's going to hurt.
How deep is this river? Question mark.
It's frozen now. It doesn't matter.
Well, it might.
10 feet.
Okay. So not. Got it.
Well,
it's on a floating island. It can only be so deep.
Sure.
Rip goes flying away 20 feet or so.
So is the giant on the frozen river, or has he made it to the other side?
He's on the frozen river.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Hunter is pretty good in a tundra, so she's probably going to try to slide next to his feet and bring the Morning Star down on his foot.
11.
Gotta help me out here, Mike.
Probably not double digits. That's 3 double digits in a row now. So I mean,
like that is something, but 11 is.
But 11 is not good.
Let's just say you miss, but you slide across to the other side, so you're in no more danger than you were before.
Fantastic. Okay. Also, I should mention Rip, when he is injured or whatever, wounded, his body kind of smokes and knits back together. So he's not out of commission necessarily.
Okay, cool. But he's also far enough away where the frost giant isn't even thinking about him anymore.
That's fair.
Okay.
So now the frost giant is turned around and is looking for Hunter.
Okay.
What happens next?
What is in Hunter's immediate vicinity? Like, what could she reach in a timely fashion before the frost giant gets to her?
There are vines hanging down, trees with vines hanging down everywhere. Okay. You know, I don't know why a frost giant would be here, other than to freeze the rivers. Because
well, there's always a frost giant in the jungles. That makes total sense. Yeah.
Makes as much sense as you and Rip being there, so why not?
Exactly. He probably got pulled from somebody else's live stream on a different YouTube
channel. There you go. In an alternate timeline, there's another version of this show where they brought in monsters.
Here's what it is this is a future live stream that you guys did and sent. Yeah. So it's just a different dimension. Yeah. Okay. How tall are the trees?
They tower over the frost giant. They're like 60 feet.
Oh, okay, that's helpful.
Shade.
Okay, Hunter's gonna run for one of the trees probably.
Okay.
With vines.
I think she's going to get there because lots of things get in the way. So we'll just say she gets there. I'm not even going to roll.
Well, and especially if she can get into the forest and the trees are slightly close together, she has an advantage because he'd be harder to see her. So.
Yep. Does she climb the trees? Does she just weave her way between them?
How much of a dead end is it if I have her climb a tree?
A floating island. So,
Yeah. I mean, in terms of storytelling, like I don't want to back us into a corner here.
Well, it depends what Mike rolls.
That's true. All right. So she's going to try to climb a tree.
2.
Hunter's not good at climbing trees. Nope. Yeah, she's never been good at it. She always falls out of them. She shouldn't have even tried, honestly.
It's those trees that are just straight up with no limbs for like 15 feet. So
yeah.
She actually, when she falls, she gets her foot wrapped in the vine.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah, because I rolled a 2, so yeah.
Okay. Well, Rip is probably starting to make his way back some sort of direction, I would assume, because he's, what is the frost giant doing now?
He is swinging his club at the vines, and it's doing absolutely no good because giants are dumb.
Sure. Okay. I'm assuming this isn't, let's see. Hunter would probably run farther into the woods because she's got the most chance of losing him that way, since she can't climb any of the trees because she's garbage at it. Yeah. Yep. So she's probably going to run deeper into the forest.
So I'm going to say she runs into the forest, but she runs actually to an end, and now there's black panthers with obsidian eyes and barking seals.
Fantastic.
And the giant is swatting the vines as he's coming after her.
And let's not forget, a 20-foot giant has a slightly longer stride than Hunter, so it's not like the giant's going to be running to catch her.
Right. He's going to be trying to figure out where she is in the trees, more likely.
Yeah, and swatting the vines because don't.
Right.
So he takes a swing. Let's say he needs a 17 to hit, and it's Mike's dice, so you're safe.
14.
Probably knocked a tree over, though.
You feel a breeze kind of go by.
Or it took a chunk out of a tree. Yeah.
Some odd, bits of bits of wood.
Okay. Is there any visible safe destination in any direction, or are we just blindly running through the forest?
Believe we're blindly running, but this is your story, so you can invent things.
It's actually your story.
No,
I just got brought here.
You can make up whatever you want. That's fine.
Okay.
Because Mike has never played D&D before. So.
All right. Let's say, can we put a portal somewhere on this floating island that Hunter has to reach in order to get back?
Yes, and I rolled an 8. So where is this portal at, Ro?
You rolled an 8 and it's a yes?
So there's a portal. The portal is there, but I'm thinking it's probably behind the giant now. So you have to go
the other way from where she came from.
Yeah, so you ran the wrong way, and now you know there's a portal because the barking seals told you.
Right, because they want their water back.
Yeah. How close are we to the edge of this floating island?
You are 15 feet.
Oh, okay.
My God, it's one of those islands. Damn. Okay.
So tell me about the physicality of this giant. When he swings his club at Hunter, is it like this big lurching? Like, could we potentially? Yes. Okay. So Hunter's.
You remember the ogre in like the second Harry Potter movie?
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of like that.
Okay. I think Hunter is going to. Are the onyx creatures and the seals in between her and the edge?
It's kind of the trees kind of peter out. It's almost like a beach area with the vine going across the beach and then down. So they're kind of there. And the seals are upset because the river is now frozen.
Okay. Hunter is going to make a break for a less populated edge. So a direction that's less populated. Kind of staying somewhat within the giant's sight so that he follows her.
Okay. And he does.
Okay. And when she gets to roughly the edge, she's going to wait for him to swing to see if she can get him to tip over.
Do I want high or low, Ro?
You probably want high.
Okay, so I rolled a 12. So as soon as I asked, I was like, well, I rolled a 12, so it's neither.
He doesn't do what you want him to do.
Okay.
Does she want to
should be involved now?
Yeah.
What's that?
There's Rip there, and I was going to say, does she want to try to climb down the vine a little bit and see if he'll, lean over and try to find her? Yeah. I mean,
she's climbing down the vine that like attaches this island to the world.
Yes, the beanstalk, basically. Yes.
Hunter does not have a fear.
Beanstalk in reverse. Nice.
Yeah, Hunter does not have a fear of heights, so she'd be good.
Okay. So that's what Hunter is doing.
Yes.
Climbing over the edge of the island.
Yeah.
To grab onto
the vines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mike, give me a 16 or better.
Oh boy.
20.
Hey.
That was an intelligence check for the giant, who is not going to blindly follow you over, but instead kind of lay down the side and look and take a swing at you as
you set my expectations wrong, Ro. I was expecting the ogre in Harry Potter here. That's not a 20 intelligence.
Of how he got a 20. He was struck with the vibe of Stephen Hawking all of a sudden and said, I don't need to go on that. I can kill this little gnat another way. Okay, now Mike.
Yes.
Because he's swinging upside down and hanging off kind of the edge of this, he's going to need another 17 to hit her.
10.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Is he leaning over?
Well, he's kind of like, I would say, maybe about halfway, kind of, because he has to see underneath, right? Yep. So, yeah.
So, how good is a frost giant's balance?
I don't know. Give it a try.
Because now Rip is behind him.
Yeah.
So Hunter can pull Rip and have him push the giant off balance.
What do I need to roll, Ro?
I don't know. How strong is Rip?
I mean, he's a big guy, so he's dead, so he doesn't have any of the normal inhibitions of like a living human.
What'd you get, Mike?
A 20.
Oh, yeah. Just goes up under the knee and just
Poof!
And then there goes the frost giant.
Fantastic.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You got 2 20s.
Yes.
Roll me a third one as he reaches out to grab the thing. And if he gets an 18 or better and he does it.
7.
Okay.
Back to the microphone. And you never used your black potion.
No.
So you get to go home with the Flame Heart Brew, which allows a drinker to become immune to fire and project flames from their hands.
Fantastic.
Oh, that would have been useful.
Yeah.
Against a frost giant.
Yeah.
But you can go back and melt the ice for the seals if you want.
Guys, Hunter doesn't need to be fancy. Just need a little bit of this, you know?
And
See,
you need Mike to roll 2 20s, which is absolutely unheard of. You should go buy a lottery ticket.
It's Hunter, man. She's got some dumb luck. I don't know. Yeah. So now I'm going to have to write a short story wherein Hunter defeats a frost giant.
I don't know. I think you should rate it from the frost giant's point of view.
That's true. Yeah. He has an intelligence of 20, so it would probably include a lot of reflective navel gazing, and could be quite interesting, actually.
He may have been trying to save those islands because the water, was eroding them away or something, and he thought so you may have just destroyed that entire ecosystem by killing the giant. Who knows?
Yeah, either that or
people of the planet hired him to go do that.
Yeah.
And they didn't want those things falling down and acting like small meteors and just destroying cities. And you've doomed them to that now. Thank you very much.
Quite possible. I mean, Hunter can raise the dead, so that would possibly be helpful.
I'm sure they'll all rest easier knowing that.
Well, and this is where, Ro, a lot of people want to have a conversation before they just run in swinging with a morning star, because we could have found all of that out if we just had a conversation with the 20 intelligence giant.
No, you couldn't, because I just thought of it.
Okay.
So 15 minutes ago, that wasn't there.
Well, I'm glad that Hunter and Rip survived on the floating island. And I hope they make their way home, because I have to write another book about them. So it'll just be, the book is just all the people around Hunter, but Hunter's not there for the whole book. Yeah. It's like
Tori, real quick, show us the book that is coming out next Tuesday, May 27th, one more time.
Cold Silver for Souls with Hunter and Rip. There is unfortunately no frost giants, but there are wickedly cold blizzards and mountains and shades, which are basically my version of like a zombie wraith that Hunter has to defeat. So you're going to miss the frost giant, but come for the shades.
All right, next Tuesday. And her website is scrolling there, so you can go find music you have never heard of before. Playlist for the books. And thank you very much, Tori, for hanging out with us from Minnesota.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me. This was really fun. This is, the frost giant pitch for Hunter is now, I'm going to have to work that into the promo somehow.
Can't wait.
I love it.
Awesome.
100% frost giants tonight.
Thank you for joining us. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do, and hit the like button while you're at it. Even if you're lying, we don't care.
Okay, and our next show will be Saturday night at 7 p.m. We are going to have Kane Williams. He's an Aussie, so it'll be Sunday at 9 a.m. for him. So we can ask him what happens in the future and about his book that's coming out.
Yeah, May release. He's in May too, right? May release buddies, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and then, after that, I'm in New York City. Yay. For business.
New York City. Sorry.
The only nice thing is I don't have to pay. The company pays for everything. But still, it's New York.
Hey, good per diem, New York City.
So, but Tori, thank you for this.
Thanks for having me.
And yeah, I know you'll have a great launch. How many pre-orders do you have?
We just crossed 120.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, somebody knows
I'm
pre-orders.
incredibly grateful because everybody, I mean, I've been very grateful for the support. So.
Mike, why are you bringing this up an hour and 10 minutes into this? We could have been talking about, marketing and things, because obviously she knows what she's doing.
Mike can DM me anytime.
What's more interesting, marketing or frost giants?
That's right. You got to go with the frost giants. Although a marketing frost giant would be even more interesting. There you go.
Next, you need a vampire accountant, although I think someone's written that series.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Well, Shane, I'm glad you got here just in time for us to leave. But
I just packaged your book, Shane.
There you go. Hey, see, now it's worth it.
Yep.
Okay. Well, now it's time to wave awkwardly, everyone. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
See you Saturday.